Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another live show with Bronze Age Nerd. I'm your host, Christopher, and we have an awesome show planned tonight. First, I want to make sure everybody can see and hear me okay before I start talking about a couple issues with audio recently. So a thumbs up in chat if you can hear and see me okay, and that'd be fantastic. And we'll also say hi to some folks real fast. GT Key Comic in the house. Tomb holding it down, and X11 Bravo. So glad X11 Bravo could make it tonight. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Hopefully we can get some viewers to kind of trickle in. Okay, do got a thumbs up. Okay, so you guys can see and hear me okay. Excellent. So that is fantastic. Real fast, I'm going to have a huge announcement we're going to get to in 1 second. I'm going to have a lot of stuff going on. So at the top of the show, I'm going to let you know this is a super chat show. That means if you do a super chat, which is the little dollar icon below, you get a chance to win some books. And this is just awesome stuff that Dynamite Comics has donated for us here. First prize is going to be this Jennifer Blood Bloodlines issue. It's issue number 10. That's a 1 in 15 Lao variant. Next up is going to be an awesome variant. This is a Arthur Sidem 1 in 40 Virgin variant for Dynamite. Dynamite, what was the issue number on that again? Dynamite Never Dies. Dynamite Never Dies, Arthur Sidem. And so I kind of tried to pick some kind of like Halloween themed books. The final book, guys, this is awesome. This is a metal Army of Darkness 1979 metal cover. So that's the premium metal edition right there. The Arthur Sidem and the Lao. Those are your super chat prizes for tonight. Basically, any super chats you do give you a random chance to win at the end of the show. So we're going to have those drawings coming up. If I can get to 2,800 subscribers, you guys should remember that I do have the giveaways for the triple signed Do a Power Bomb #1. These were from Collector's Choice, Chin Potter covers. Also Noctera 7 signed by Chin Potter. So the goal was to get to, sorry, not 2,800, to get to 3,800 subscribers. So if I can get to 3,800 subscribers, we can give those away as well. Yeah, we'll be doing that at the end of the show. So that's something to definitely pay attention to. So the big message tonight, we do have our guest coming on in probably a few minutes. I'm going to talk about the announcement first, and then we're going to bring our guest on. That is George Michail, who is the creator of Cover of Darkness, who wants to talk about his awesome story he created, and I'll also talk about the Kickstarter he's doing right now for his hardcover edition. So before we bring on George, I want to talk to you guys about something very special. So I've been wanting to do a charity auction for veterans for a while now. And I've had, conversations out there, and I've really wanted to kind of get this ball rolling. And I decided to do something a little different than what I've done in the past. I've done charity auctions in the past. It's going to be, I'm going to run a charity auction on Veterans Day, currently at 9 p.m. Pacific. I might move it back earlier to prime time if I'm able to, but right now that's what my schedule allows. And that'll be on Drip. So Drip is an auction platform. You can go, there's a link down below to my profile. You'll actually get a $15 credit off your first purchase of a $20 buy it now item right now. If you want to go sign up and get that process started, attach your payment, all that fun stuff. On the 11th, I'm going to have a bunch of items for auction for charity. All of the proceeds, 100% of everything I make from that auction is going to go to Mission 22. Mission 22 is a veterans charity founded by veterans to help support veterans with their unique needs that they have. And they are a fantastic organization. I've spoken with many people who are veterans in the comic book community and gotten the thumbs up that this is a good veterans charity to support. And so that's who I've chose for this year. I'd love to make this an annual thing. I could love to support another charity next year, perhaps. We can definitely keep that going. So definitely let me know about your recommendations for charities. But this year we're going to support Mission 22, and I'm really excited about it. I've been talking to people in the community all day, in addition to conversations I've had over the last few months. And I already have, for example, the Comic Corner, a fantastic shop. Go check them out. The Comic Corner just donated $500 for this charity. So that's our first official donation in the books. That'll be going 100% to charity. After the auction ends, I'll include that with the entire amount. I have people sending in books that want to have things auctioned off. I'm talking to artists. We're going to try to have some art available. Some creators are trying to supply some stuff. Worst case scenario, I'll auction off some of my stuff, and hopefully we can raise some money for this cause. I think that is the real goal here tonight. So in addition to me doing that, what I really want are people who are trusted sellers in the community. I'm not going to accept just anybody. I'm going to vet you to a certain degree, so be prepared for that. If you're a trusted seller in the community and you're interested in partaking in this, I would love to have multiple streams throughout that day where we can have sellers rally behind this cause and raise money for this charity. I'm going to name this charity Heroes for Heroes. Heroes for Heroes will be an event where everything that we collect is donated to this amazing charity. I did make sure. I was a little worried about that term. I know some veterans aren't necessarily comfortable with that term. So I did talk to several veterans in the community to make sure that they were okay with that. And they said that that's a good term to show support. The term heroes is something I know some veterans have a hard time being called. So I did want to make sure that was okay with them. And they gave me the thumbs up on that as well. So I think this is a fantastic cause. I really appreciate anybody who wants to give their support to this. Again, the stream will be on Veterans Day, 11/11 this year. I will, at the current time, I'm going to do my stream at 9 p.m. Pacific time. I might move that forward so I could do it like more in the prime time if my schedule allows. But I'm hoping to line up the entire day, or at least a good chunk of it before that, with other charity auctions. I'm going to be streaming on Drip. Go follow the link, get signed up. People that sell on Whatnot, people that sell on YouTube, IG Lives, all that kind of stuff will add you to the itinerary for that list, as long as it's something where it's like, I can tell you're a trusted seller, you have a history of charity work, those kinds of things. If you don't have that kind of experience, sharing this video, sharing any of the posts that I make about the event, all that stuff helps. Watching this video helps kind of raise awareness. Maybe people will send in stuff. All those things help. So definitely any way you can support, any way you feel comfortable supporting, please let me know. I am going to put up real fast here on the bottom of the screen my email address. It's thebronzeagenerd@gmail.com. If you're interested in sending me anything, if you're interested in becoming part of this event, and if you're interested in showing any kind of support and you want more information, please contact me there. You can also do it through IG, Discord, Twitter, any of the other places where you guys can reach out to me. And I'm more than happy to talk about this in the coming days so we can get prepared for this event. If you do want to send items in, I'm creating a deadline. I'd like to have them absolutely no later than November 9th. Earlier is better, but that gives us time to make posts and promote the stream so people know what's going to be available for the auction, and that'll help generate, more buzz and get more people involved so we can raise more money for this astounding charity. So that's my little piece I wanted to say about this. I really appreciate everybody's support that's watching. Anybody that wants to share any of the details about this, you are awesome. Thank you so much for your help. And with that said, what I'd like to do here is bring on our guest for tonight to talk about the subject that you saw in the thumbnail, which is an awesome comic book called Cover of Darkness. Let me bring up my little stream here. We're going to add our guest in the stream. Please welcome George Michail.
Hey, how's it going?
George, how's it going?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. It was really fun. We had a chance to connect at Rose City Comic Con. I was able to stop by the booth, and really, honestly, like, I was walking by, I think you saw me. I was checking out all the artwork. All the artwork was drop dead gorgeous. I think a lot of comic book fans, that's what draws us in at first, is that artwork, right? So props to having some amazing artists that have contributed to your work here. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Cover of Darkness?
Sure. Yeah. So Cover of Darkness is kind of like Game of Thrones meets Universal Monsters. It follows a family in medieval Romania that gets separated from each other, and they encounter vampires, werewolves, the mummy, creature from the Black Lagoon, and a steampunk Atlantean Frankenstein. It's about their journey back to each other. And within that family, there's twin shapeshifters, boys that can turn into animals. So you have gorillas fighting werewolves. It's pretty fun.
Nice. That is awesome. And you're the creator of the series, right?
Yes,
and the writer.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, and this is with Source Point Press, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Fantastic. And now I understand you're kind of looking to do something really cool here. So you have a Kickstarter running currently, right?
That's right.
Fantastic. I'm going to get that up on the screen here. Let me share the tab I have open with that. Darkness.
Yeah, so this is a Kickstarter for the hardcover and the card game. from January through June, all 6 issues were released in the comic book stores. And now is your chance to get like a hardcover, so a collected edition of it, and it's the only place to get it. And it has an all new, a brand new cover that's gorgeous too.
Right on. And I was checking out this trailer. Should we play this trailer real fast?
Yeah, please.
Awesome. Let me make sure there's sound here.
Breaking news. Out of Romania, reports of werewolves battling gorillas, lions, and even elephants have surfaced. For more on this developing story, we go to special Lycan correspondent. Wait, what? Come on, Karen, I just read the teleprompter. No, I don't think you're funny. Sorry for the false alarm. This is a video for the Cover of Darkness Kickstarter campaign. The graphic novel featuring thrilling artwork by the uncanny MJ Hibblen is 100% completed and ready to print. Set in medieval Romania, where evil lurks under the cover of darkness, one family will be pushed to their absolute limits. They will face legendary monsters and encounter obstacles they never imagined existed. Werewolves, vampires, Frankenstein, and the Mummy. When everything is on the line, simply surviving is not enough. I must say, this comic book really does look outstanding. So there you have it, Cover of Darkness, graphic novel, available now on Kickstarter. Put away your pitchforks and get yourself a copy today.
Awesome. So yeah, I think it's a really cool trailer. Good job on getting that one in there. That really helps sell it. Yeah, this is perfect. I figured, with Halloween, I'm sure you thought the same thing with Halloween, everything going on. It's perfect season to talk about some of the interesting characters you have going on here. Kind of scroll through the Kickstarter here. So let's see. Are you?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, there's one of our animal monster fights. We're just down there.
Oh, nice. Let's scroll that. This one right here.
Yeah. So we got a white werewolf fighting an anaconda there. And if you saw in the trailer there, we had a polar bear taking on like some Yetis. So it's pretty fun.
Absolutely. So I encourage people to go check this out. We do have a link in the description below. I think this looks like a really fun series. And it's cool you're doing a card game too. What was it like creating the card game?
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So like my dad used to make card games and board games for me when I was a kid, and I've continued doing that with my daughter. And so me and my 9-year-old put this thing together, and we took this old game called Golf that you play with playing cards, and we kind of reverse engineered it and then added like a ton of new stuff to it, like specialty cards. And like there's a Gravedigger card where you can dig through the discard pile and get the cards you need, or there's a goblin card where you can steal someone else's cards. There's even like death cards and resurrection cards, and they're all like tarot card size, so it's a little bit bigger, so you get like a lot of art on every card.
Right on. Yeah, this looks really cool, man. I like that. It's cool that it's not just the hardcover, which is also awesome, but you also have like this extra kind of bonus going on too.
Yeah, I tried to be like really reasonable on our prices. We just go up a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it's like $22 for the card game, $10 for the PDF, $40 for the hardcover, and $50 because I didn't want to be like selling it at a convention down the road and have someone be like, "Hey, wait a minute, I bought this thing for like $60." So I really wanted to have it like just like legit prices. Like this is what it is, and I think they're pretty reasonable.
Yeah,
and
totally.
we're like 95% of the way funded. So who knows? Maybe we'll get funded in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was checking that out. I'm gonna go back up to the top here. So you're 34.17 right now towards a 36.87 goal. 71 backers with 11 days to go. So I think that is you're kicking butt. I mean, we all know Kickstarters are hard to navigate sometimes. Looks like you're doing awesome. Got some cool quotes here. Moving and dark in all the right ways from CBR. That's a nice quote. A delight of monster goodness from start to finish, from comical opinions, reels you in and gives you a good scare from Comic Watch. This is fantastic, man. I really just want to say hats off. Like I use that image in the thumbnail, like that. There's just so many cool pieces of art, cool story stuff here for anybody that's into the kind of monsters, the kind of the macabre kind of stuff, all the creatures fighting from lore. I think that's really cool, man.
Thank you. All the artwork is done by our series artist, MJ Hiblin. He does everything digitally with his finger. He doesn't use a pencil or a stylus. The guy's like a mad genius.
Wow. Like all of it, like it's just finger brush kind of, right?
Yeah, just all on his iPad
That's cool.
with his finger. Yeah.
Huh. I don't think I've ever heard of it. Like I know some artists do that, on occasion. I didn't know anybody like did that like exclusively.
Yeah, well, he was an early adapter to like working on the iPad and digitally before they had the pencil. And then once the pencil came out, he's like, I like using my finger better. So that's
Nice.
what he stuck with.
He does a really good job. So hats off to him. And did he do? Is that just like a filter, or are these actual like digitized images?
These are just filters. Yeah.
Okay. That is really cool. So I'm kind of curious, we'll get back to the story here a little bit. Like I think I actually can take that off for now so we can see you better. So what was sort of the inspiration, when you were thinking about creating the story?
Well, I really love horror movies. And when I was very young, I watched Monster Squad, like a 1980s horror movie where it's like the classic monsters come to town and it's up to like a ragtag group of kids to stop them from, causing the end of the world. And I was like 5 years old when I watched that, and I was by myself, like home alone. And I was just like running around losing my mind. And ever since then, I've had kind of like a love-hate relationship with those classic monsters. And I wanted a shared universe where they could all interact with each other. And so that's what I set about doing. Me and my co-writer, Chris Cam, kind of cooked this thing up. But it was really important to me because, like, as a horror lover, I hate it when you follow the final girl throughout like the whole movie and like the monster is just like barely in it. It's like, that's what I'm here for. Like, give me some more of that. So in our books, every issue is split. Half of it follows our family's adventure. They're on a collision course with the monsters. And the other half of every issue is a standalone monster origin story that's a good read on its own.
Right on.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool and unique approach to it too, because like you're saying, like, some stories, like, they tend to get a little formulaic. And we kind of see that formula over and over again, especially in that genre, I think. And so to see like kind of a different take on things, we've seen some stuff from the monsters perspective before, but to see it from both is kind of a cool take. So that's awesome and fresh. I like that.
Thanks. And we reimagine the classic horror characters. So it's not like the same version that you've seen before. In our version, Frankenstein comes from the island of Atlantis. He's resurrected by his wife, Dr. Mary Frankenstein, the most brilliant inventor there. And it goes terribly wrong, though, because the same restorative properties that brought him back to life reanimate the dead. So he's like the very first zombie.
That's cool. So does he have like a relationship to the zombies then? Like, can he control them and stuff, or?
No, he's
okay.
He kind of just goes like berserker rage and will like attack when things frustrate him. And then the result is zombies, and it's not good, especially for his wife who he loves. He has to try and then protect her from these like creatures that are obsessed with like eating her brains.
Right on. No, that is so cool. And again, it's perfect. I couldn't ask for a better topic to highlight than something like this, just days before Halloween. I think everybody's kind of in the right spirit for this. So that is fantastic. So do you have a favorite character that you've kind of created amongst them, or is it kind of all the same to you as far as like they're all your children, or is there a favorite child basically?
I do really love our werewolves. They're Vikings in our story, and they have like their own kind of honor code. It just feels right, like mashing up Vikings and werewolves. It's like chocolate and peanut butter just kind of fits together. And our leader there, his name is Ulf, and he's just a badass. He's just like nice. Very determined and focused on his mission. It's cool.
Right on. Do you have any like, since we're kind of in that Halloween season, I have to ask, what are some of your, you mentioned one of your childhood favorites. Do you have any other favorite horror movies you'd like to highlight?
Oh, my favorite horror movie of all time is Scream. Uh, yeah, I was it just hit me like right at the perfect age, right? Like 96, I was like, 14, 15 years old. And yeah, I had it on VHS and I saw all the other ones in the theaters, and that was kind of my introduction to slashers, really. Like
Yeah,
I got into it big time.
nice. Yeah, it's a really good one. I love that, kind of what we were talking about earlier, kind of turned the genre on its head, right? Like, kind of subverted expectations, which is awesome. I can't help but notice you got some killer books behind you there. So you're
Yeah,
obviously a collector as well.
absolutely.
Right
I
on. So,
I didn't
um,
start making comics until I was like 35 years old. So I always wanted to be a creative person. I was just really nervous about like putting myself out there, kind of fear of failure. And I really, really wanted to. And I was actually in a pretty horrific car accident, and that gave me a good scare. I broke my back in it. And I was like, am I just going to be afraid my whole life? Or am I actually going to try and do this and like put this thing together? And so I started working on it about 5 years ago, just writing my books and working with different artists. Got a publishing deal, got another publishing deal, and now the books are starting to get out there, and it's starting to come together. But before that, I was collector and reader, and loved everything, that the animated shows and the movies and just everything, just eat it all up.
yeah, no, that's interesting you said. So I was in a car accident where I broke my back when I was 16. So, uh, definitely, everybody's journey is different, but it's a tough thing to like get over mentally, physically, of course. So mad respect for you for being able to do that, to have, kind of that be part of what kicked off some of this adventure for you. So that is really awesome that you're able to use that to your advantage. So I'm super curious because I think a lot of us that are comic book fans and collectors, one of our dreams is to be involved in the comic industry. Some people, they want to own a comic book store. Some people want to write. Some people want to draw. Most people want to draw, it seems like. I've always wanted to write a comic book and have it get published and all that stuff too. So what was that process like for you? Like, how did that go? Like, where did you start, and like what kind of struggles did you encounter along the way?
Well, Quentin Tarantino has like a quote out there about how like if you really love movies, you could make a movie. And I felt like I really love comics. I could make a comic book. And I had seen like script formats in the back of like different graphic novels. Sometimes they'll have like a few pages of script, and I bought a couple of books on that, on just how to write, and watched a ton of YouTube videos, and I just started working on it. And I wrote my first series was called Fire Engine Red. I have a kind of announcement, actually. It's kind of cool.
Oh,
So
cool.
the rights to Fire Engine Red, which was my very first comic book script, I spent like 6 months writing this thing. I did like draft after draft after draft on it, and I actually sold the rights to it to a digital publishing app. And yeah, and they actually gave me like real money, so I was like pretty cool. But that company went under, and the rights have reverted back to me. And
Mhm.
I just worked out a deal with SourcePoint Press. It's going to be coming out in like 2 years, but like 2024, it's hitting
Okay.
stores. So it has like a release date, and I'm super excited about that, to finally have this book out in the world. That was my first script I worked on. Ali Garza is illustrating it, from
Oh,
like Teen
wow.
Titans, Supergirl,
Yeah,
Batgirl. Yeah, the guy's amazing. So
that's
I'm super
awesome.
psyched to be working with him.
Right on. So that was your so that was called Fire Engine Red.
Yes.
And are you able to kind of give us a synopsis of the story?
Fire Engine Red is like Die Hard in a forest fire. It's about a female firefighter who needs to rescue her boyfriend and take down the armed mercenaries. But there's one problem: she's more at home in a burning building than in the flames of romance.
Okay, nice, nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of
Right
like
on.
an action comedy, like a send up to like 80s and 90s action movies, which I also really love.
Well, yeah, that's congratulations on getting that book, kind of moving forward and seeing some new life. That's awesome. And that creative team, I can't wait to check that out too. So, really nailing it. I'm getting a chance to work with some amazing artists so far. That's great. Okay, so you wrote that story. and then had some traction with it. So then, how do you get from there to Cover of Darkness with Source Point?
Cover of Darkness. So I was over my co-writer, Chris Cam. She's my cousin, and I had just gotten Fire Engine Red moving along, and I was really excited about it. And so I was over at her house for Thanksgiving, and I was like, she loves to read and to write, and she's written like novels, nothing published, but she's written many, many novels just on her own, and she's worked at a bookstore her like entire life. And I was like, why don't we jam on something? And she's like, well, what are you thinking? And I'm like, I want to do a monster book. And so she had like a lot of ideas from like her love of like paranormal romance. And like, she's a scaredy cat. Like she doesn't like, she can't watch like horror at all. But she loves to read like horror literature, like all the classics. And so together we just started jamming on our different takes on the monsters and how the story would be. And we plotted this thing out. It's actually like, we wrote it like a trilogy. So there's like
Wow.
3 6-issue miniseries. And so this Kickstarter for the hardcover is for the first 6 issues that are collected. And then next year, the sequel series is coming out from SourcePoint Press. So
okay,
that's
awesome.
kind of how we got started on it, was just breaking it down. We had like poster boards and like little post-it notes, and we mapped out like all our plot and all our character arcs, and we figured out what we're going to do. And then we reached out to our artist, MJ Hiblin, and he came on board, and that's when it really started to happen.
Okay, cool. So, so did you have to go through like a pitch meeting with SourcePoint, or how did that work?
No, so we wrote the book, and we hired the artist, and we printed a few issues just on our own. And I got after it like in 2019, and I did like 18 shows all across North America, and I kept on running into the SourcePoint guys because they do a lot of conventions.
Yeah, they do. Big presence.
Yes. And so I would pitch them the book over and over and over again. And then it got to the point like, George, we don't need to hear your pitch. We've already heard it like 10 times. It's like, why don't you just like come up for dinner with us? And so I just got to like hang out with the guys and got to know them. It's a great team over there. And yeah. And then kind of COVID kind of like, put a dampen on the progress, but the book finally came out this January.
Right on. Well, that's so awesome. It's cool to see something kind of taken off from the ground floor. And I can't say enough. Like, congratulations on all the success of this series. For the more that are coming, that's really awesome. And for the Kickstarter. So hopefully we can get some people to go support the Kickstarter. Check it out. The hardcover looks absolutely gorgeous. I'll get that back up on screen here. So yeah, we have the hardcover coming out right there. You see it there, closed up, and there's that fight he was talking about in the middle. And then you do have the different tiers. We'll go show that again real fast. Of course, the card game, can't forget that.
Yeah,
and then
the card game, I'd like to say, is it's all ages. Like, the monster book, you may not want to give it to your 5-year-old. They might like grow up traumatized and then write monster books for when they grow up. But the card game is good to play with for all ages, and I've played it with 6, 7-year-olds as so it's fun for everyone.
Okay. So it's not gonna cause any therapy sessions to happen or anything.
No.
Right on. Okay, so then we have the tiers. We'll just go over again those real fast. I mean, $10 to go back this project and get a chance to read the story. I mean, even just from the art alone, I think you guys can tell this is going to be a fun thing to check out. So I would imagine that's going to be a very popular option for people. $22 for the card game, $40 to get it on hardcover. Oh, go ahead.
And you get the download too. So if $22, you get 6-issue download and a card game.
Right. And if you just want the card game, you get the download. That's cool. And then of course, you get kind of everything in that $55 bundle. And that's a really, like, for a hardcover and a card game, like, that is an amazing price. Like, that is really good. Cool.
Yeah,
and then,
I'm excited about it. And then these are our stretch rewards. So we're hoping to, kind of 5,000 was the 5,000 Canadian, about 36 US was our kind of minimum, but we're really hoping to get closer to 10 to be able to get more of these rewards in. We've got 10 pages of concept art 10 pages of pinups. The pinups are like other covers that we have. Artwork is by like Carrie Nord, who worked on like Conan the Barbarian and Wonder Woman. Ali Garza again, Tim Laddie from Ghostbusters. So we have like some really cool variant cover artists, and so all that art will get added into the hardcover. And then the concept art is kind of like really like a peek behind the scenes. It's MJ Hiblin's original designs, and some of them we didn't go with. Like he gave our creature from the Black Lagoon like a mermaid tail, and it's like,
Okay.
yeah, you know, it's neat, but that doesn't fit our vision for him. But you get to see that in if we can add those pages at 12,500 Canadian, which is not like, that's like $9,000. So we could still get that.
Yeah.
That's a director's commentary video. So it's me and the rest of the creative team are going to sit down and we're going to film a video where we kind of break down the book, and there's like, you know, there's stories behind like, you know, every page. So it'll be a fun video to film. It'll probably be, you know, at least an hour of us like kind of really dissecting the book. And then if we reach that stretch goal, then you'll get a link to that video and you'll be able to watch the video. And then the last one at 15,000 Canadian dollars is a signed book plate. So me and my co-writer Chris Cam will sign, and then these book plates will be glued into the hardcovers, and you'll have like an original signature in each book. And I'll do I have a little vampire doodle that I do. So I'll do those in there too.
That's awesome. Got a couple questions that came into chat here. Hey, Comics with Bueller in the house, another great channel here on YouTube. So Comics Bueller wants the pitch on Cover of Darkness. You wanna give him that one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. Cover of Darkness is like Game of Thrones meets the Universal Monsters. It's about a family in medieval Romania that gets separated from each other and they encounter vampires, werewolves, the mummy, creature from the Black Lagoon, and a steampunk Atlantean Frankenstein. It's about their journey back to each other. And within the family, there's twin shapeshifters, boys that can turn into animals. So you get like gorillas fighting werewolves. And I should also add on, it's a mixture of horror and fantasies. So it's not just the monsters. We also have like goblins and orcs, mermaids, and dragons in this series as well. And that may sound like it's way too much, but it makes sense because each monster gets a standalone monster origin story. So you really get to know them as the family kind of makes their way through this fantasy world and encounters these monsters.
Yeah, and I should also point out too for our friend Bueller here that this is already a series that's out from SourcePoint Press. This particular Kickstarter is for the hardcover and for the card game to kind of commemorate. So I guess basically the first arc, like you said, before we get into the second arc of the series, it's gonna be coming next year.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, thanks a lot for stopping by, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for popping in.
I also have something I'd like to donate to your charity.
Dude. For sure. Yeah, let's hear
here. This is a Cover of Darkness. This is a first edition, and it even says first edition. This is like an indie self-printed book.
Here, let me make you the large screen here. Oh, whoops.
So it'll say first edition right there. And there was only 100 of these ever made, and they're pretty cool. Like, because the book has sold like, you know, close to 10,000 copies in comic book stores.
Can you show that one more time now that I have you on the larger screen there?
Yeah, so here it is. This is a Cover of Darkness first edition. And
that is cool.
Yeah, and I'll throw in the other 5 issues of the series as well. So there'll be
awesome.
all 6 issues. If someone wants to bid on that, just let me know and I'll mail it out to them.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure somebody's gonna be interested in that for sure. And if you want to send that over, I'll give you my details after the show. And then on just for anybody who's joining now, that is the charity auction on November 11th that we're going to be running, and that's going to be all charity proceeds. Everything from the sale is going to Mission 22, and not only that, I'm trying to get some other sellers involved to kind of fill up that day so that we can have a bunch of different auctions running with all the charity proceeds going to Mission 22 to help support our veterans and their families. Awesome cause that is created by veterans, run for veterans and their unique needs in the community. So I think that's fantastic. I really appreciate that, George. That's going to be an awesome addition to the auction. Thanks for doing that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure.
That is killer. Cool. Yeah. So, and then I did have one more question that came through that I wanted to make sure and get here. X11 Bravo Comics, also a veteran in the community. Appreciate him being here tonight. Says, George, what do you write on equipment wise? Old school machine or computer?
So my process of writing is on my cell phone in my hot tub. I like to relax and kind of imagine my fantasy world and a conversation between two people, and just really kind of get mellow, and then I just type it up on my phone. And yes, I have dropped my phone in the hot tub before, but that's my process.
Oh, that's really cool. That's definitely different than I expected. I thought you were gonna be like, I did a laptop at a Starbucks or something like that. But that is really cool and unique. That's awesome. Great question. Great question. Comic Journey says, "Good thing you didn't go with the mermaid tail." I'm gonna imagine that was probably a pretty cool concept. It'll be fun to see that if we get to the stretch goals, but I can definitely see where it might get in the way. We got Shadow saying he's going to have to go back and pick up the series. Sounds like an amazing story. That's awesome. Bueller says Cover of Darkness is really good. He's got an autograph set from George himself.
Yes,
recommends checking it out. So we really appreciate that feedback.
Yeah, I met him at MegaCon this past summer.
Awesome. Yeah, another awesome member in the community. So that's really cool. So if anybody else has any questions that they want to ask George, definitely get him in there. I just wanted to take another extra second just to really recommend checking out this Kickstarter. I think that we as comic book fans, we often talk about voting with our dollars, and if you want to see more original stories, things that aren't just sequels or rehashes or reboots, that kind of stuff, if you want to see more of this kind of content out there, there's only one way to do it, and that's to support the creators that are out there making it. And that's kind of why I love talking about these Indiegogos and Kickstarters from these creators and stuff that obviously you're putting a lot of time and effort into this. You're coming out with a really polished and beautiful product. Let's talk about that. Comic Journey asks, were you at New York City Comic Con?
I wasn't this year. I was last year.
Okay.
Yeah, it falls on my daughter's birthday like every year, and it's a tough one to make it to, even though it's like so important, like industry wise.
Yeah,
for
sure. That totally makes sense. Yeah, I have a hard time getting around to the cons too. Like Rose City is fairly close to me. Emerald City is fairly close to me, so I kind of try to make it to those. But the big shows, it's definitely fun to get to them if you can. But it's expensive and it's hard to do. So. Cool. Well, so I think I didn't see any more kind of questions coming through. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about with the Kickstarter, or anything else coming out that you wanted to let us know about tonight, George?
So in November, Cover of Darkness Origins, it's a one-shot, is going to be in stores November 23rd. It features 3 standalone monster origin stories. It has the origin story of our kind of senior vampire, like the Cover of Darkness kind of follows his apprentice more, but you get to see the older vampire in his early days. He's an elf warrior, and he's riding on dragonback, and his niece, the queen, is sick and she's dying, and he has to go on a quest to find a cure for her. It's beautifully illustrated by Andy Belanger, who worked on Swamp Thing, and he's on Mother Trucker now, his own series. We also have a short story where we learn the origin of Mary Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein, illustrated by John Delaney, who worked on Adventures in the DC Universe, Justice League Adventures, Simpsons, and Futurama. And then the last story, we have Ninjas versus Kaiju. So you have 3 short stories in one comic book. It's coming November 23rd into your local comic book store. So be on the lookout for that.
That is awesome. That sounds really cool. And X11 asks if you are on IG. Yes, you are. I neglected to put that link in the description. Is there a link on your website?
Yeah. So my website is georgemichail.com.
Yeah, I've got that one in the description, so people can go check that out. And then search for George Michail with the same spelling I used in the thumbnail on IG, and you'll pop up. Definitely go follow him there as well. Check out the website. Definitely check out the Kickstarter. I think that, even if you're just going to go in and spend the $10 to get the digital download, that is awesome. Get a chance to read the story. And of course, if you want to do more, definitely consider doing that too.
Yeah. My Instagram handle's @comicbookgeorge. So super easy to find me too.
Awesome. Yeah, and then this comment right here, love your imagination. Like that is so true. Like you've got a lot of energy around the story, and you're kind of, excited bringing it out here, and that's infectious, and I really appreciate that, man. Thanks for bringing that for us tonight.
Yeah, thank you. My biggest compliment that I ever get is when I'll sell the first issue to somebody on like a Friday or Saturday of a convention, and then they come back and they loved it, and then they come back and they buy the rest of the series. Because, as comic book lovers, it's usually the art that gets you in the door, right? And
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter how good the art is if the story's a real stinker, it's hard to hang on. So when they come back for the rest of the series, that's like, okay, I've done my job. Like they're coming for more. So that's the biggest compliment that I usually get.
No, that is awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out more of the story. Some of the projects you have coming out sounds really awesome to me. Yeah, unless you had anything else you wanted to add, I just wanted to thank you again for coming on tonight, George.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast.
Awesome. And again, I do appreciate that you're donating that book to the charity auction. I look forward to hearing from you about that, and we'll get that posted up on IG too to have some more exposure for people and to check that out. So I appreciate that again. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks.
All right, awesome. Have a good night, George.
Peace.
That was really cool. I love having, people that are excited about comic books, people that are excited about creating comic books on the show. You could tell that his excitement is definitely there. That's what we want to see. So that is really cool. I definitely recommend checking out the Kickstarter. Again, I do have a link in the description below, so definitely consider go check that out. Go at the very least, go check him out on IG, check out his website, and go support him. And again, I do have the links for those in the description below, so definitely check that out. Cool. Well, that is fantastic. If anybody does have any questions about the charity auction as well, I kind of covered at the top of the show, but I did want to bring our guest in and talk to him about the exciting new Kickstarter. If you have any waving goodbye to George real fast in the background there. If you have any questions about that, let me know. I'm more than happy to answer them. Gonna have some definitely some cool stuff up for auction. Again, that will be on Drip on Veterans Day on 11/11, currently at 9 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to talk about some other stuff. If you guys have any questions about things that have happened in the news recently, hey, here's kind of your chance. I've got some time. We can talk about it. I'm going to talk about one thing real fast. Let me get the tab shared here. Oh, wait, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this real fast. So this is, if you guys are curious about the charity, this is Mission 22's website. And you can kind of, check out their story. I'm just going to read the first couple paragraphs. At Mission 22, our commitment could not be more personal. Mission 22 is founded by veterans. Most of our staff are veterans, spouses of veterans, or have immediate family members who have served in the U.S. military. We provide extensive personalized support and resources to help veterans and their families thrive. Mission 22's program for veterans and military spouses offer everything from biometric monitoring of stress, sleep, activity levels, to meditation and coaching, to exercise programs and a wellness supplement regimen, to books and learning resources to help veterans put their experience in context. Mission 22 recognizes that a veteran's experience is a family's experience. Families live through all the ups and downs that soldiers returning home do. We've developed a support program exclusively for spouses to take positive steps that renew their identities as individuals and the strengths they bring to their household. Our ambassador program further supports veterans and military families, a network of more than 3,500 veterans and civilians in all 50 states and around the world. We work to advance society's collective understanding of the issues faced by active service members, veterans, and their families. So that's kind of just gives you an idea of a little bit of what Mission 22 is about. They've served over 5,200 veterans and their families, over 10 million funding into programs. They have those 3,600 ambassadors like they talked about. So this is, I made sure to talk to several veterans in the community. So when I did that, I really tried to make sure that I was supporting the right charity. A couple other ones came up. again, there's some other good ones that were suggested that I want to do a little bit more vetting on, and maybe next year we can do something like this and we can support another charity. So that's something that I definitely want to point out. I tried to take this pretty carefully into consideration when I was deciding what to do with this. Absolutely. I mean, well, it's the least I can do because I appreciate everything that you and your community have done for us. So it's the very least that I can do. So I'll let you on the panel, Bronze. Will you commit? I promise. Remind me of the time again, Comic Journey, because I might not be able to. I can't remember when it was. But yeah, actually, if you did 3 a.m., it might be easier because that would be midnight my time. So tomorrow night, I'm doing a drip auction. This is not the charity auction, but you're still more than welcome to come support. I am doing a bunch of giveaways in that auction. I'm doing like over $100 worth of giveaways for my drip auction tomorrow night. Some cool Funko Pops, a slab, some kind of hot comics. I'll be posting that stuff up on my social media tomorrow. And then I'm running a whole bunch of books like that Star Wars Visions Virgin. I'll run that. A whole bunch of stuff that I'll have tomorrow to run as well. There'll be some pretty good stuff. So that if you want to come check out Drip and see what it's like, even if you don't want to buy anything or bid, you might win some stuff because I'm doing giveaways there. And then you'll have your account all sorted out and payment method all set up so that if you do want to come support the charity auction, you can do that. Again, if you just want to support by sending me stuff that I can auction off, there's some people that have already decided to do that. I do want to take an extra second to really thank Comic Corner for donating $500 when they heard what I was doing. That is truly awesome, and I really appreciate Brian over at there was the one that talked to me about that. One of the owners over at Comic Corner, and that is just fantastic. So I really appreciate that. That's going to, give us a boost out the door. I have reached out to artists. Hopefully we can get somebody to kind of, send in some, maybe a sketch or original art, something like that. Anything helps. If you see my posts and you just want to help, but you can't financially support me, I understand. I'm not well off. I'm actually, finances are hard right now. Let's put it that way for a lot of people. And I totally understand that. Sharing the posts, liking the posts, adding it to your reels and stories and stuff like that on IG, coming and watching the auction, coming and watching, live streams, all that stuff helps. So don't think you can't help just because you can't afford to financially support the cause. There are other ways to do it. You haven't set a time yet. Bueller's in and waiting on a response from a couple of others. I mean, yeah, I'm certainly willing to do it. It's just a question of timing. So you let me know what times you're kind of circling in on, and I'm definitely considering being on there. I do have some stuff that I'm, I can't really say what I'm doing, I guess, in some ways, but I have an interview that should happen maybe sometime next week. It was supposed to happen this week. We'll see when that happens. So that's going to be kind of a big deal. It's going to involve juggling a few people's schedules. I have a lot of work to do to get prepared for the charity event. Again, Heroes for Heroes is what I've decided to call it. I hope that's kind of a name we can kind of get out there in the community. You'll see some promotional stuff come out from me, especially this weekend. And just, to the people that are watching, like some people don't want to be included, like, hey, that we're helping out. Some people do. So I'm not going to name names quite yet for who has committed, but some people have already committed to helping as far as like sending stuff in, those sorts of things. And anybody who does that, my drip link appears to be broken. Let me see if I can fix that. Anybody who does that, definitely, whether you send in books or support some other way, let me know if you don't want to be shouted out for that, because I like to tag people, kind of give them, they're doing something awesome. The very least I can do is send people their way to follow their accounts or something like that, right? Like, to me, that's just like an easy way to do it. Let me paste my link into chat for my drip auction. There we go. Don't get the double audio. There you go. There's the link. So what that link does, if you sign up with that link, you get $15 off of a $20 buy it now item. It can't be off of an auction. It has to be off of a buy it now item. And I will have buy it now items available for my auction, including things like, like a thank you card that I'll send you a card, but like you can just donate whatever you want, right? Like, that's one way that you can support if you don't want to like buy comics or whatever. Another thing that people do in charity auctions, like, is they might win something and then they'll say, run it again, or for somebody else or something like that. If that happens, I'll send you something. I need to send you something that's how the process works, right? So I need to send you something. I'll send you some kind of bonus, even if it's just a thank you card or something like that. Or some, some comic cards or something. So, I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. So, no worries there, CJ. It's, by the way, like so CJ made a post about this stream he wants to do on IG, and I hope my comment didn't come across as too critical, but you're talking about everybody tiptoeing around stuff, and then you said basically nothing about what you wanted to stream. So I was kind of like, well, hey, why are you tiptoeing around stuff? So I get it, man. But yeah, definitely, go follow Comic Journey. He's been a guest on the show before. Go follow him on his channel so you can be part of that stream when it takes place. Yeah, for sure, man. Again, anything you see me posting, absolutely reshare it if you feel comfortable doing that. If you want to send any books for me to auction off, that's cool. If you want to, I know you have a Whatnot account. If you want to run a Whatnot auction, and you're willing to donate the proceeds to Mission 22, that's a way you can help, man. Because then I'll basically, if I get some sellers together, what I'll do is I'll make a schedule for that day and say at 9:00, I'm streaming. At 7:00, Comic Journey is streaming. Whoever wants to volunteer, and I'll say, like, on Whatnot or on Drip or on IG Live or wherever their preferred way to do it is. So there's definitely different ways that you can support. It's an elaborate ruse. Yeah, exactly, man. It's like a Trojan horse being delivered to my live stream here. So yeah, lots of different things we can do to help out. By the way, thank you for telling me the link was broken. I need to fix that. I don't know if it changed slightly or something, but sorry, it was not working for you in the description. So I'll get that figured out for sure. So yeah, did want to talk about, stop screen sharing that and share the new tab. We'll talk about something. I don't really honestly have a whole lot to say about it. I know everybody's talked about it already. And again, you guys feel free to ask questions. Feel free to, talk about whatever you want. I'm just free form here. This is, the big news. Everybody already knows about this, I think. James Gunn, Peter Safran to lead film, TV, and animation division. This is an exclusive 4-year deal, from what I understand. Obviously, James Gunn is best known for Guardians of the Galaxy, probably, and Slither. In addition to that, he also is obviously he did the second Suicide Squad movie for DC already, kind of infamously. So, but the one element that is interesting to this is, and I don't know how I feel about it. So James Gunn got in trouble a few years ago for kind of Twitter trouble, we'll call it, for having had made some jokes that are of a serious nature on his Twitter feed. And he was kind of notoriously fired from Marvel and eventually brought back, which to me, it's kind of like, it's being brought up again because he's working for DC now and people are like, oh, well, they hired him. I kind of feel like if you weren't raising your pitchfork all along for all of this stuff, since he was brought back to Marvel, I don't understand what the issue is. If you have all along been like, I don't want to support James Gunn and I don't think he ever should have been brought back to Marvel and I'm not going to support him at DC, that's a different story. It's an interesting element to this. I think that, some people are starting to talk about a little bit. Actually, I wonder if this article even mentioned what happened. Doesn't seem to be, but I know some articles have come out recently that touched on it. And that's like the weird implication of all this. Like, people who try to be funny, sometimes to be funny, you need to be offensive. And, it's kind of like the classic joke, like anything can be funny. I believe George Carlin is the one who kind of popularized that. I'm not going to get into the material why, because it's a serious subject, and I'm not doing a comedy show. Although some people think my show is a joke. So yeah, I guess you could make that argument. But anyways, the point is that he made some serious tweets that were meant as a joke, but people took very seriously. And now you're handing him the keys of the kingdom. That's one perspective. The other perspective for me is this is a person who's clearly talented, who we've enjoyed and embraced the works of for years now, and is now being handed the keys to the kingdom for DC, which I think I am speaking generally here. I think the community in general has not been happy with the product that has come out of DC. Of course, there are people that love individual movies. There are people that love individual, pieces of media that have come out, of course. And I'm not trying to diminish that. But let's face it, most people that are kind of, monitoring the DC stuff aren't really loving it. And of course, we've had massive issue like Batgirl getting canceled. I can't even remember if it's confirmed at this point, but like Blue Beetle getting canceled. Now you finally have Black Adam coming out. Like, I think it's been like 15 years since we heard The Rock was going to join Black Adam. It's been a long time. That finally came out. I haven't seen it yet. So there's a lot of going on with DC. And one of the things they've definitely, you've heard this quote a lot over and over and over again is DC needs its Kevin Feige. And that is interesting. That is interesting because now you have somebody who, they had Zack Snyder, obviously, who I think a lot of people felt delivered short of the expectations. He did a style. He tried something. He kind of had an arc. Excuse me. He had an arc that kind of continued on and then was interrupted by a tragedy in his own family. Although some people say that, he had a death in the family, child, which is horrible and tragic. Some people say that he was on his way out before that happened. Hard to say. It's really one of those things where DC, I don't know if it's better to completely like throw everything out and start again. I've said for a long time, and of course now we have all the Ezra Miller Flash problems that are massive. Talk about controversy, talk about real controversy too, in my opinion. So you have that film coming out. And I had said for a long time that if that is what they can use to do Flashpoint and kind of end up at a point afterwards where you've kind of picked and chosen what you want to bring in for like the DC continuity, and also maybe bring in some new stuff, right? Like, bring in Batman Beyond or whatever it is, right? Doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. But bring in some new projects and kind of use that as a springboard going forward. You can kind of pick and choose. Like, you could say like, well, we really like Jason Momoa, Aquaman. Let's bring him in, but push Amber Heard out. I'm not saying that's what I want to do. I'm just saying that's what a lot of people want to do. Maybe you could do that. Sorry, I got a message. And then you could pick and choose. Like, the big rumor is Henry Cavill is back as Superman. Not even a rumor. It's confirmed. He's back as Superman. Okay. From what I understand, Pattinson is out as Batman. Maybe he's doing one more movie, but It's not like he's going to be the Batman for this. Well, he is the Batman, right? It's not like he's going to be the Batman for the DCEU. So there's all this stuff coming. I don't think most people are excited about most of it. So scrapping it all and starting over sounds interesting to me. That's kind of where I'm at with it. But picking and choosing a few things to carry forward makes sense. Like, obviously they're going to recast Ezra Miller. There's just no way in the world they're going to move forward with Ezra Miller. It's weird. Like, to me, the biggest problem with the DCEU is that they had to be so fucking dark. Everything had to be serious and depressing and dark. And you could argue that the MCU is too light, too goofy, especially certain films. But I really want to see like a variance in tone in the MCU and in the DCEU. By the way, Werewolf by Night, pretty much universally acclaimed for having a different tone. Not necessarily darker, like it still had comedy, like some people thought Man-Thing was a little too comedic, that kind of stuff, right? But still, it was darker in tone. And it was black and white. Like they really went for a style there. Love it or hate it, I'm glad they tried something different. And there's so many characters that it would be fun to see. Like, I think it'd be badass to see Booster Gold. That'd be fucking funny. Booster Gold, bring in Blue Beetle, do team ups. You know, those characters teamed up all the time. I'd love to see Lobo. I'd love to see, like, I'm curious about Supergirl. Has been one of my favorite characters for a long time. I'm curious to see how they do that. The Teen Titans or Titans, bring them into the big screen. So many like interesting and cool characters that we've never even got to. Green Lantern is like just primed and ready for, you know, the main stage. We do have a TV show that's supposedly in the works. But it's just one of those things that's interesting. Yeah, that's the thing, is regardless of whatever opinion you have on it, I hope it's successful for them. Everyone got caught up with their agendas, and at the end of the day they realized they actually still have to make money. Yeah, Catwoman especially, like, more and more has grown into definitely her own character. You could argue that she did back in the Jim Ballant run quite a bit. I'd love to see her brought more to the forefront for sure. The Shadow has been hoarded out to every publisher out there over the past 80 years. I'm not saying I hate DC or Marvel. I'm just saying I'm praying they leave him alone and let someone else do it right. Yeah, well, and think about it. Like, there's kind of like this weird, like almost disgusting thing that's happened with Marvel fans. And I am a Marvel fan. First and foremost, I'm a Marvel fan. I love the universe, the comics, the characters, more than DC. But I do think DC is loved by many. There's a lot of passionate fans out there that deserve better. They deserve more. There's been some really great Batman movies over the years. There's been a few good Superman movies over the years. But really, for the wealth of characters you have over there, for the wealth of the universe and the knowledge that they have, it just hasn't been done justice. No pun intended with Justice League. Wonder Woman should get mentioned. The first Wonder Woman movie I thought was really good. Maybe a lackluster villain, but it was really good. Second one was terrible. But that should get mentioned. Yeah, Lobo kicks ass 100%. Hey, what's up, Danny Girl Comics and Collectibles in the house? Danny, I hope I'm okay to say this, but one of the people that offered to send in some stuff for the auction, so I appreciate her stopping by. Another fantastic member of the community. Go give Danny Girl Comics and Collectibles a follow. Another guest that's been on the show too. So that's great. We're getting kind of a reunion going here. Thanks for stopping by. Shadow says Green Lantern changed characters and now has been pushed back because the writer left. Okay, I hadn't heard the latest on that. So was Jessica Cruz supposed to be the original focus? and so, I thought it was like Jessica Cruz and Simon Boz, and like one other character, I think. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Phantom and the Shadow are both characters that deserve, better represented. The Phantom, I mean, that movie, there's people that probably fondly remember the 90s movie, but I mean, we could definitely do better, right? Yeah, that is very awesome. We really appreciate that support. I hope I was okay to say that. But yeah, people that DM me specifically, I'm not saying it, but you said it in our Discord server, my Discord server. So, oh, I didn't realize Guy Gardner was even the focus at any point. John Stewart I'm excited about because I do enjoy Jon Stewart more than Guy Gardner. But I thought it was supposed to be more of like a Green Lantern Corps show than like about any one particular Green Lantern. I don't know. Maybe they'll change that, especially now, right? Interesting. Yeah, DC. It's just been, like from a comic collecting standpoint, from a people that collect comic books for value, like do DC books start to see any kind of a bump in value for people that are interested in speculating on DC books? I think that's a valid concern from the speculation part of the community. It's been pretty abysmal for a long time. I would love to see like a live action Harley Quinn series or their movie. I'd love to see so many things from DC. Like they just have so many cool characters. I'm a huge fan of the Amanda Conner, Jimmy Palmiotti Power Girl run. That'd be a cool story to tell. Awesome. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I definitely appreciate it. It's one of those things where I'm hoping that, I had a lot of people. I was blown away by the support I had when I did the auction for Mad a few months ago, like 6 months ago. I can't remember now when it was. I think it was early summer, and I've just been blown away. And I'm really hoping to push even further with this attempt to raise some money for a charity here. Already, like, just I'm surprised by the response to it. I'm going to cut out parts of this video and upload it as like a standalone, like call to action kind of a thing, and see if we can kind of generate some, further response for it. And of course, you'll see my posts and stuff on IG. So that is awesome. I appreciate that. Demon, yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Good point, Brandon. I mean, there's so many, like, I think they canceled the Zatanna movie. That was, Constantine. We're getting some Keanu Reeves sequel, which is kind of fun, kind of weird. There's just so many things. Swamp Thing. Just so many cool properties, and I hope that they can deliver on it. I have a weird thing I got to do here, so I think I'll probably do this now. I've got kind of a mea culpa I got to do. I made a mistake when I did a drawing for a super chat prize back on October 1st, and unfortunately, I did a couple streams. It just wasn't appropriate for me to kind of do this kind of a thing on those streams. We were talking about some pretty serious stuff. I had a pretty important guest on, a couple pretty important guests on the last stream I did, so I couldn't really do it then. If you want to go check out that stream, we talked about New York City Comic Con and what happened to Peach Momoko's line. We had Trish Forstner on. We had Haha You Wish on. But speaking of charity work, he's another great person in the community that does charity work. So definitely go check him out. I gave away a super chat prize on October 1st for these two books, this Red Sonja Virgin cosplay cover and this Barbarella book. And when I did that drawing, you can see I circled, so bright, sorry, Preston's name there. So Preston was the winner. I made a mistake, and Preston was awesome enough to say he was rewatching it on the rewind and noticed that when I did my random number generator, a couple people put in their super chats, and I was talking about some stuff, and I was really out of it at the time. You know, I'm a stay-at-home dad that does this in my free time to try to, you know, share my passion for the hobby, all that kind of stuff. I get tired sometimes when I'm doing these streams. So apparently I didn't update the random number generator to go to 24, which was the, oh, that is so bright. Let's see if I can, to 24. You can see my bad writing there. So I drew from a smaller pool of people than I should have. So I apologize for that. And I also want to say thank you to Preston for being such a stand-up person that he came in and, you know, told me like, hey, I noticed that, you know, the number didn't get updated. So who knows? He might win again. I don't know. But I'm going to re-roll the random number generator for that super chat prize. And this time we'll do it right. So again, Preston, one of the best people in the community for sure. Somebody I definitely value his support quite a bit because he does stand up honest things like this. Let me get this added to the stream. Yeah, her unboxings are really awesome. Absolutely. Like I really enjoy watching, again, it's like I was talking about with our guests earlier. I really enjoy watching people get excited about comic books, and you can just tell when Danny's doing those unboxings that she's really excited about it, or at least passionate. You know, maybe not always happy with the results, right? But passionate. That's cool. Okay, let me get this added to the screen. Okay, so you guys should be able to see that now. So I have it corrected to that 24 number. So that's the right amount this time. So I'm going to run generate 3 times. I hit it 3 times every time. And the number that appears where that 3 is at when I'm done will be the winner. And I'll show you guys who that is if I can get the glare to go away there. Okay, so first time here, 1, 2. That didn't go. There we go. Third time, 5. Whew. I was kind of like worried it was gonna be Preston again, because that'd be a little weird. But he definitely, you know, he did the game there, so he got his chance to win. But we do have a different winner, and that is the first person donated $5, and that is Rick James, 1 through 5 there. So he's the new winner, the corrected winner, Rick James. Rick James, I don't think I've ever sent you anything before. So if you're watching on the rewind, or if anybody sees Rick James in a chat somewhere, let him know he won. If I see him again, I'll let him know he won and say I need to get his shipping information. So congratulations to Rick James for doing that. I really appreciate his super chat, and I really appreciate Preston being honest and being like, hey, you probably need to rerun that. And I said I would do that for sure when I had a chance. And then the other thing too is Atomic Frank. If you're watching Atomic Frank, you won last month. You won my my channel member giveaway. If you become a channel member every month, at the beginning of the month, I do a drawing for the previous month's channel members. And he won some prizes last month, some posters and some comic books. And if he sent the information to me for his shipping, I can't find it. I looked for it. I was dealing with a lot of DMs and stuff. I know it sounds like an excuse. It kind of is. But it's also a reason. I get DM'd a lot of information about stuff. You know, people trying to report things, that kind of stuff. And I looked and looked and looked, and I could not find it. When I went, you know, like about a week later, I went to go send out the prizes. I couldn't find the information from him. So either he sent it in and I forgot and couldn't find it, or he never sent it in. But Atomic Frank, if you are listening or watching, please send me your information, and I want to get you your prizes. If I don't hear from you by the time I do my next drawing, like probably, you know, early November or whatever, I'll give you something else if you contact me later. You know, you're always going to get a prize for that, you know, something that's equally as cool or cooler. So definitely reach out to me, Atomic Frank. Let me know what your shipping information is. If you did already, I'm sorry, I can't find it. I've looked everywhere, my email and looked through all my Instagram. If you guys could see my Instagram direct messages, it is stupid. It is a lot of people tag me in posts, which is just, it's fine. I'm just saying, like, it becomes a lot to like go through and juggle. There's not really an easy way to search, and if your name doesn't match, it's really hard for me. So not really an excuse, but it's usually, you were being kind, but no, you rarely DM me compared to, I mean, there's people that tag me in every post they make. And I appreciate that they feel like I contribute to them in some way. They want to do that. That's totally fine. I'm not speaking badly on that. And of course, if you have information about something like news stories I've covered, that kind of stuff, I get a lot of information from people. But what happens is something happens in the community and I get a lot of, did you see this? And probably 1 out of 100 times I hadn't seen it, and it's really important. I needed to see it, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate it every time. But also there's a lot of times where it's like, yes, I've seen it. Yes, I have. And I definitely appreciate it. I don't want it to come off like I don't. But yeah, that's just how it goes. Because sometimes messages get lost. So the big thing that I want to kind of point out there is, if I haven't responded like in 3 days, even if I've seen the message, I'm watching my kid, like I'll see a message and I'll be like getting her lunch ready, or like getting dinner ready for us, or, it's nighttime routine or whatever it is. Right. Like, and I might see it, but not really register that, oh, I need to follow up on this. And then it gets pushed down my message queue. That's what happens. It happens a lot. So if you don't hear from me for a few days, please reach back out. Don't be afraid to be like, hey, did you have a chance to check that out yet? Or, hey, I sent you that message. You get a chance to read it. I'm never going to, fault you for doing that. Yeah, man, for sure. It's not 200 hours. It's an hour and 15 minutes. You stream longer than I do, Journey. But yeah, hit me up with the details, man. Let's talk about it. What the hell? What? Her? Oh! I read that the wrong way. So you're saying she doesn't have it? Okay. I was like, man, be nice. Yeah, I appreciate you stopping in, man, and showing the support. I appreciate everybody here for showing the support. Kind of moral of the story is, if you reach out to me about something and I don't, get back to you right away, please be a little patient, and also don't be afraid to reach back out and let me know, hey, I haven't heard from you about this or whatever. Life finds a way to get it in our way sometimes, right? So that's all. Yeah, go harass CJ. Hey, Bravo, can you do that for Danny Girl too? Can you get her page copied over, if you'd be so kind, if you're willing to do that? Got some people in here, and I think that would be a good page for people to go follow as well. And let's see what else. Yeah, so I probably have an interview coming out sometime next week, I hope. I have the charity stream on the 11th. I have a regular drip auction, not the charity auction, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Pacific time. The link is up on my drip channel right now. And let's actually see. Yeah, I can post my link for my drip again there. And I believe Bravo just posted in Danny Girl Comics channel as well. So let's see. I would love to do a stream to do my channel giveaway. It'll also be some extra giveaways because it's my 2-year anniversary for doing the channel. And I just want to say, an extra thanks to everybody who's been here for part of this. So I'm going to do, whenever I do that stream for the channel giveaways for October's winners, which will be early in November. Hopefully early in November. I'm going to do some extra special giveaways too, and try to give back a little bit too, because you guys have been so awesome. We'll do some trivia or something like that. My wife's birthday is in early November. I have some family stuff going on, some kind of medical stuff. So I'll probably be dealing with some other things in November. It might be a little later in November than I usually would do it, but I will do it. I'll definitely make sure we get our channel members some giveaways. And I do appreciate all the support. 2 years here on YouTube. We're that close to 3,800 subscribers. And when I get there, I'll do the giveaways, hopefully at that stream. That should be about the right time to do the giveaways for the Noctera signed by Chin Potter. These are gifts from Collector's Choice Comics. Triple signed, do a power bomb #1. Those will be awesome giveaways. So remember when you were at 200 subs? Yeah, man. I remember when I started this channel, I literally was like, I don't care if I have 10, like because I want to do it for me. Like, I don't know how long I would have kept doing it if I only had 10, because I might have, decided to do something different. But you've probably heard the story before a million times if you've watched my show. Like, I wanted to learn how to do video editing. I wanted to learn a little bit about audio. I wanted to learn a little bit about doing social media, search engine optimization. That's what I'm trying to say. And social media and stuff like that too. Do some graphic design. And I've kind of learned how to do a lot of those things. And there's other things I might be able to do with those skills. So that's really cool. And also I get to talk to everybody about comic books. I get to hear your guys' opinions on comic books. That's really fun. Did have a video come out today. Another top 5 not to buy. I'm going to try to film some price look backs too that should be coming out. Try to snip parts of my interview with Randy Emberlin to make like shorter clips for those. That'll be coming out. So lots of stuff coming. I'm working on a lot of content. And yeah, I've been talking too long, so I'm probably going to wrap it up. Thanks a lot, everybody, for being a part of the show. I hope everybody has a great night. Enjoy your Thursday. Hopefully I'll see some of you for the auction tomorrow night on Drip. And hopefully I'll see everybody for the charity auction on Veterans Day, November 11th, for Heroes for Heroes. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great night.